Hello everyone, MP Roland here, and it's finally time to restart putting up more videos of my Path of Radiance hard mode draft. And I kind of missed a bit of the first turn there. Basically it was just Reese moving to that position and killing the bishop, which did require a critical, so I reset 2 or 3 times for that, because otherwise it would have made it a little bit harder to go about doing what I did, I suppose. The lions would have attacked Jill, I believe, and that would have caused penalty to incur. And penalties are not so fun. I would rather get a lower turn count than get a higher one with penalties. So, and you may be wondering, why are you allowed to use Jill at all? I do move her and I shove her, but specifically in the rules, there were nothing against shoving undrafted units with your drafteds, which is, so it is legal. And undrafted units aren't completely useless. Like I said, you can still recruit with them and everything like that. But basically, I was allowed to shove Jill, and the first time I tried to go through the game, I did incur a penalty, but I somehow managed to avoid that this time. So pretty cool. And the thing about this chapter is, if you're doing it for a speed run or something like that, or I should say an efficiency run, not a speed run, 2 different things, but in this, just due to how hard, I mean, the chapter will end as fast as you pretty much can do it. I think the fastest you could probably do it would be about still 3 turns. I don't know if there are any long-range tomes accessed at this point in the game, but it's a matter of, I would say a sage is possibly the most efficient way to go about this. I have Ilyana, who's freshly promoted, and I think I gave her a arm scroll. I can't remember at this point, but I did make sure she could use Elfire, and double with it, which is even more important. But the things you have to realize about this chapter is, you kind of have to take it at a slower pace, depending on the items that you want. I think, sacrificing a turn or 2 just to get the boots, if you can't get there with any other sort of movement. In this draft, Soth was given as free for utility purposes, and I think even if he wasn't, you'd really have to define the rules of the draft as to who can get items in the desert, because I don't really think there's any penalty against moving them. So in any case, if you can defend Soth, who I don't even think enters combat, I have both thieves, so it really doesn't matter, but they do have a 100% item get rate, I suppose, item get, whatever. They do find them in desert tiles 100% of the time if you're in the designated area, and if you don't know where you can find all those items, you can look them up on Serenus or Syrian's Forest, whichever you prefer to say it, on their website, and they have a link, which I will probably put in the video description to show you. But as you can see here, it's a matter of Jill. I was trying to see if I could get Stefan by turn 3, which would have been cool, because in my last draft I got him on turn 4 or 5, I can't remember, and then I also had to incur a penalty, so because I think Lethe got attacked, and there. So Reese at this point, he's got enough speed to not be doubled, which is kind of good. I did need him, this is actually a nice thing. I did use him for a combat purpose, and he has a max crit forge tome or something like that. But Ike at this point, really, I mean, depending on your unit selection, this could be one of your worst or best chapters. If you have a heavy magic unit, if you have a lot of magic units, I could see it being easier. If you have a flyer and a magic unit, it would be much easier. And I guess even if you had Lethe drafted, that would actually make it easier, because even at base level, she should be able to handle herself on her own. And if it's really that big of a deal, you can have a healer. You can get a physics staff on this chapter and heal her from afar, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Reese probably shouldn't be able to survive on his own this well, but this is where I thought the problems would arise, but apparently Lethe can actually access. It was mostly me being afraid of whether that unit would go and move to attack them on the next turn at the square above, which would have sucked. But Lethe can, and indeed will, managed to grab Stefan on this turn, which is pretty cool. So there you go. That's another unit, and that was the main reason I was able to get the penalty avoided, was because that Raven attacked on next turn after it transforms, and that was just a big, an unfortunate consequence. But that was one of the things I realized when I picked Stefan after I did was, the desert chapter, you do have to make time to go get him, because not using him would be kind of a loss, because he is a very helpful unit. Great damage there, and he's absolutely broken at this point in the game. Except, my paladins are definitely better offensive units, but let's just say Stefan is no slouch. And coming in as a level 8 swordmaster with damn near cap skill and speed is pretty cool, and his strength pretty much grows every level. So, he's a good unit. If you have the ability to get up to him fast enough within 3 turns like I did, then I would say go for him over Zihark or somebody else like that. He doesn't steal experience away, and he's a great out-of-the-box unit, and, sure, he has a terrible support, but, it's taking your losses as they come. I would sacrifice that, but, as you can see here, I don't think I attack him on this turn, mostly because I still don't have the boots yet. So I probably could have easily 3-turned this chapter if I so chose. And I don't think a 2-turn was possible, outside of like mass shoving, and I don't even know if I could do that. Would have been cool. So I just, I had too many things to worry about if I was doing a pure speed run, just to see how fast I could do every chapter humanly possible. As she gets a horrible level up, I would have probably done that, but yeah, Soth, as you can see, he really gets no combat use whatsoever from me. I have Volk, there's no reason to use him, and he barely even gets any use for thieving. There's only a few chapters in the game where I would actually suggest bringing 2 thieves, and you've already seen one of them. So I guess chapter 27 would be another one, just because you have 2 sides of pretty sweet chests. So but chapter 16 is another one. There's a lot of cool chests on that chapter, but I skip all but 1 or 2 of them, I believe. And I don't really need that shine. I don't even think I end up using it, but I realized it was still there. I pretty much have the items points memorized. I don't remember if I got the physics staff yet, but if I did, that's probably why I'm not moving to show you it yet, or something, I don't know. But thankfully, that cat decided to attack Stefan, and gets absolutely decimated by Vegkati with Astra. A little bit overdone, but I think I only used my hammer and staff on the Vegkati once, and otherwise I don't really need it. So I decided, I don't really want to kill Moram that fast, especially if I'm not going to forego the boots for 1 turn, which would be an absolute waste. And would definitely hurt me in the long run, but yeah, Ilyana definitely can just absolutely decimate that entire corner of the map. Soren could do the same thing, just I'm not sure if he would be using fire tomes with the same proficiency, and I still believe that lightning magic or thunder magic is infinitely superior to wind magic in this game. It is a little bit heavy, but I think it's the heaviest of the magics, but it is also the strongest, and Ilyana with bonus experience abuse can get strength pretty easily, definitely easier than Soren. That's why I recommend that. And at least on hard mode, it's actually really difficult to use Soren effectively. In the few chapters that he has over Ilyana, he's getting doubled, I believe, and he's barely doing any damage with his magic, and Ilyana does the same thing, but she's a higher level, which just makes it easier for her to get to a, promotable level, I suppose. And her bases aren't too terrible, so. I think this is about it. I think I finally go and attack Moram here, and that will be the end of the chapter. So, watch as I burn his ass to a crisp, and as luck would have it, he ends up joining me right after, and he actually becomes a pretty decent unit for the first few chapters that you get him. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will catch you later for the next segment, Chapter 16. Thanks.